games.
Who is this raven-haired actress?
Winona Ryder.
That is right.
We've got your games. Scarface, hosted by Danny Bonaducci, Tuesday through Saturday at 9:30 on GSN.
Tick-tock, tick-tock, hickory-dickory-dock. It's time to beat the clock. Time for fun is now begun. Let's all play Beat the Clock.
Beat the Clock is brought to you by Sylvania. For half a century, a quality name in incandescent bulbs, fluorescent tubes and fixtures, photo lamps, radio and television sets, radio and television tubes, and electronic devices. Yes, for homes, offices, schools, and factories, Sylvania.
Let's all play Beat the Clock.
Now here he is, America's #1 clock watcher, Bud Collyer.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome once again to Beat the Clock, a show where you can have the time of your life playing against time for big-time prizes. We have a very pleasant occupation now of re-meeting some contestants from last week. How are you?
Hello.
Nice to see you again. Have any trouble coming back, did you?
You are in mufti. You were in your uniform last week, weren't you?
Yes, sir, I was.
Are you allowed to do that when you're at West Point now?
Yes, sir.
This young man's a cadet up at West Point, and this is your last year, isn't it, Bob?
Yes, sir, it is.
It's Cadet Robert Albert and his fiancée, if I recall correctly, Miss Eleanor Wolf. And what do you do, Eleanor?
I'm medical secretary.
You're up in Newburgh, I see. That's not far from West Point.
What is it?
Right-handy there, isn't it? Boy, that's no bad deal. And you're going to be married June the 7th, is that
sir,
right?
that's right.
Well, again, may we wish you all the happiness in the world. We had just about started you on the $100 clock when time ran out last week.
Yes, sir, you did.
And, of course, the bonus had already been tried. Now, it could happen with you tonight, can happen with anybody. Whenever the bell happens to ring, whoever is up at the stand at that time, they get a crack at our bonus, which tonight is worth $800. All right, boy, did you get any chance to practice your little stunt of last week?
I thought about it a lot, so I didn't get too much of a chance.
You just thought about it. You figured it out, what do they call it, logistically or something?
Well,
What do they call that there stuff when you work all things out by mathematics in
statistically.
Statistically, I can't even say it. All right, suppose you come out over here, boy. Want to take your coat off, or don't you mind running around with it on? It's up to you.
I don't mind.
You don't mind. All right, this is on the $100 clock, and that, of course, is why we put rubbers on your feet to give you a little non-skid base there. Now, as you recall, but a lot of people who may not have been here or seen the show, what are you licking Madeline for, huh? You're engaged, boy. Attention. Attaboy. All right, Bob. Remember what you have to do. Over here, we have on the end of a little string, a little ring that Betty is hooking a balloon on. And right above it is a ring that has a lot of sharp needles. And, of course, if this hat, this derby hat, were allowed to slide all the way down without being stopped, that balloon would go up there and break. And that's not, of course, what we want it to do. It's got to slide down there, and there's a whole reason for that, of course, because these 3 derby hats have got to be hung up on that hat rack by you, starting with them on the floor. You watch where Madeline puts them right now, and you'll see there's 1, there's 2, and there's 3. Get the idea? Now, what you do, of course, is to start this derby hat up here like this, let go of it, run down and catch the first derby, get back here in time to catch this derby before it breaks the balloon, hang your first derby up on the hat rack. Start this up high again, run down and get the second derby, and hang it up on the hat rack, meantime catching this in time. Each time you break a balloon, we'll replace it with another, and also fine you 1 hat. In other words, the one that you went for, we'll have to put back, okay? All right, here we go. Take a look over your shoulder and mine now. See how many seconds you have, boy. 55 seconds from the time I say go. Are you ready? Go. Okay, there's 1. All right, there's 2. Comes the last one. Ready? Go. There, that's it. Put it down. All right, stop the clock, boy. Now, wait till we get set here. Wait till we get Betty on with another balloon. You ready? Go ahead. Anytime. Yeah. All right, put another balloon up there. Come on, fella, you got to move fast with this one. That's it. That's the one. Still got 40 seconds, so you ready? Go. Come on, keep hanging balloons up there. Let's put this down a little bit so you can get it. Can you get it, Betty? Okay. All right, we'll hang another balloon on. Okay, you all set? Anytime you're ready, go. Almost had it that time, almost. Put it out again. You're all set now. You're all set. Ready? Go. You remember have to move any faster in the Army than you had to move right there, boy. There's really no time. How'd you feel about all this, Eleanor? Huh?
I was excited.
Getting a little nervous about it, were you?
And
Boy, I'm
how?
telling you, you just did catch it, too. That thing was just another quarter inch. You would have hit those needles.
GSN presents the
Okay, now, I made a quick mistake there. I forgot that you were just trying for the $100 clock. I was going to jump you right over the jackpot clock. But no, comes now your $200 clock, and we couldn't skip that one very well without being unfair. So suppose you both come over here with me. Incidentally, do you like prize fighting? You like to watch the fights?
Yes, sir.
Do you?
Yes, sir.
You ever wonder how they work that fight bell, Eleanor?
Yeah.
Well, come on, I'm going to show you how. Come over here with me, and let's bring out our fight arena with the fight bell, shall we? There's a regular fight bell right there, Eleanor. Now, this fight bell, you're going to get a chance to ring. I want to show you a little something different about it here. It isn't going to have to be tripped like this, the way so many of them. That's the way it would be tripped. That's kind of hard. So we've hung this little thing up here for you to swing at it until it hits it and just makes a little clink, which is all right with us. We don't mind if it's not a loud one. And so that you can make sure she does it right, boy, Bob wants you to get back there. You got a ringside seat at this here fight bell. You just sit right down there, and so that none of the rosin gets kicked in your eyes or in your hair, we have a shower cap for you. And you are also going to have a very good seat for this. You're going to ring that bell from down here, Eleanor, if you don't mind, just sitting on that, facing your fiancé, if you will. That's the idea. You better kind of sit down if you don't want to sort of squat on there. That's it. You'll be more comfortable, I think. Now, all you have to do is to start this swinging. Now, don't go at it real hard and just press it, because it'll go against there and we won't even hear it hit. What you do is kind of give it a hit, let it swing, then give it another from back here until it hits. When it hits there 3 times, we'll stop the clock and you'll beat the clock. You seem a little far away, aren't you, huh? Well, we have a special device to let you hit it. So if you'll bring it over here, this is filled with whipped cream. You see? And all you have to do is this is where the whipped cream comes out. You aim it like that, and you press that little thing there. Now, I suggest you just what I showed you. Use that as the thing that hits it, starts to swing, and give it little short spurts, you see? So you can get it swinging against that bell. You get the idea? And ring it 3 times, we'll stop the clock, and you'll beat the clock. You, sir, just watch. Oh, I'm telling you, you got the best seat in the house. Let's see how many seconds you have. 35 seconds. Are you ready? Go. All right, stop the clock, stop the clock, stop the clock. You see what I mean? What I mean is this. Let me shake this old one up. It's almost through. Now watch this a minute. See? Little short ones like this. See? See? That'll make it swing. Get the idea? Okay, ready? Go. That's it. All right. That's it. Hit the bell. That's 1. That's 1. That's 2. Once more. Atta girl. One of your Sylvania flag dogs will have it for the record. That's the idea. Make it pretty for him now. There we are. We'll get it all developed for you, maybe have it at the end of the show. You come on over here with us, and if necessary, we can sponge that off for you backstage. Now, Eleanor, comes your turn to try for our jackpot clock. So if you just continue your walk up on that little platform, stand down at that end of it, if you will, and face the audience. Don't turn around until I tell you to. Now, on back of this curtain is our famous jackpot board, and on it are all of the words of a famous saying or quotation. They're all out of order, however. You have to move them around on the board until they spell out the saying or quotation we're after, and all this in 20 seconds. You understand the problem? Okay, now don't turn till I tell you to. Open the curtain. Turn around, take a look. Go. Five more seconds. Beat that clock if you can. Oh, golly, I'm sorry you didn't beat the clock. The clock beat you. It's a saying that goes, tiger, tiger, burning. I guess I dropped bright, didn't I? Huh? Burning bright in the... Got to get these things recharged. In the forests of the night. Tiger, tiger, burning bright in the forests of the night. Well, you did all right, young lady. You still got through with the help of your fine fiancé, our $200 clock, so stay right back in here while we see what you've won.
And here is your prize, the sensational Kenmore Infrared Range, one of the most beautiful and modern ranges in America. With the Kenmore, sold exclusively by Sears Roebuck & Company, you will actually cook with infrared rays, harnessed by the amazing Sylvania Instant Heat Cooking Unit. Congratulations, Mr. Albert and Miss Wolf. You have just won a Beat the Clock prize worth more than $200.
Mr. and Mrs. Albert Jandorf of New York City.
Well, didn't have to come far, did they? Thank you, Louise. Hello, Mrs. Jandorf. How are you? Jandorf. Is that right? Kind of hard to read these cards. Well, boy, what are you afraid I'm going to do to you?
Too much.
That's the first time anybody ever came to the show dressed like that. Now, let's see. What does this say? What does it say on there?
Manhattan Borough East, Supervisor of Air Wardens.
Manhattan Borough East, Supervisor of Air Wardens. Well, now, we have a couple of hundred of you out here, haven't we, in the audience? Where are you all, upstairs or down? Welcome to you. Nice to have you here tonight. Well, now, tell us a little bit about this all. Will you please, sir? Mr. Jandorf?
Well, the Air Warden service and civil defense should be part and parcel of every person's duty. There is an emergency now. There will be an emergency for another 10 years. It behooves every person to work for civil defense. If they all do their job, it'll be simple. Because there's no fear, like fear. There's no fear that we can have. We can do things by forgetting fear, by being prepared.
Well, that makes very good sense, sir. As a matter of fact, any people that are watching or anybody that's here in the audience tonight, can they contact any of you folks here in the theater? And
They surely can. Every police station, every civil defense unit is ready to take volunteers right now.
Well, good. All right, see that you do that now. Look into it. If you aren't already listed and serving in your own community, wherever you may be watching us, or here in New York City, get in touch with one of these people before you leave the theater tonight, as a matter of fact. Let them know what spare time you have and use it. In fact, make some spare time. This is pretty important. All right, nice to have you here tonight, though. Believe me, Miss Jandorf didn't mean to ignore you. Forgive me. Now, let's see. How long have you folks been married?
What is it, 23 years?
You have to ask him.
I have to ask.
That's a switch like I have never seen. Do you have children?
2.
How old are they?
Well, one is 21, she's my daughter, and the other is a boy, 4.5.
Oh, you got both ends of the ladder there, haven't you? Well, that's fine. Is he watching or is he here with you tonight?
I hope they're both watching.
Well, I suppose you wave to him in that camera right there.
Hi, Dickie.
So they know that you didn't forget him. All right, now we have a little problem, let me see, a little problem for you, sir, I believe. And for it, I think you'd better take your helmet off, if you don't mind, unless it's part of you. Okay, if you'll just set it down anywhere over there, it'll be all right. Right on the stand is okay. That's the idea. And if you'll come over here with me on the $100 clock, I'll show you what your problem is. You also maybe better take your glasses off and give them to your wife, or I'll take them for you. Okay, meantime, the girls will show you what you have to do. You step in that little container there. You want to hold those for him, please? That's the idea. Turn around, face the audience. Good. This is not exactly what you'd call civil defense, what I have in my hand, but it is a little something that can be considered part of civil defense, I suppose. It's a girdle. It's a girdle. Now, you can call all the directions you want to your husband. What I'm going to ask you to do is this. We're going to zip this mattress cover right up over your head, sir, so you won't be able to see a thing. But before we do that, I'm going to give this to you in your 2 hands through the inside of that. Get a hold of it. Get a hold of it. You got it? Got it good and tight? Get it stretched out the way you want it. Because what you're going to have to do, get a good grip on it, what you're going to have to do is put it on. Now, you can lie down on the floor and slip it over your feet. You can stand up, do anything you want to, but put it on. And in how many seconds? Let's take a look and see. 55 seconds. Got a good grip on it? Huh? Okay, put this up over his head. All the way down. Zip it up. Don't start till I tell you to. Are you ready? Go! Of course, I must admit he wears his girdle a little low, but still, that's all right, boy. Good enough. I tell you, that shows you're prepared for any emergency. Now, what is it you do for a living, by the way, Mr. Jandorf?
I'm an executive.
You're an executive. Boy, what we do to executives, don't we? What sort of... Hey, the bonus. You get to try the bonus, guy. Oh, fellas, get out here. Bring out the bonus. There we are. The bonus tonight is worth $800, sir. Don't forget that. That's in addition to anything else, and it doesn't prevent... That's not supposed to happen until later, but it's all right. We'll get another cup. Now, we have to have a cup on each side. Thank you, Betty. And here we have two little sticks put together in the shape of a T, as you see. You hold this in one hand. I don't care which hand. Are you right-handed? All right. And then what you have to do is to place that ball in that cup, or this ball in this cup, I don't care which one, and then by swinging this other ball, get it to land in that cup over there. Do that without pulling either of those cups off. We'll stop the clock, and you'll beat the clock, and you'll be $800 richer. Take a hold of it with only one hand. Take a look over your shoulder and see how many seconds you have. 45. Are you ready? Go. Going to reverse your English here, huh? We've got about 3 seconds, so make it quick, boy. Go. Oh, golly, I'm sorry you didn't beat the clock. The clock beat you. This is climbing up on our other bonus. As I say, that's purely in the nature of a bonus, a little something extra. Incidentally, if any of you folks watching our show tonight would like to do a little something extra for the good of mankind, you might invest a little more heavily than you have thus far in the American Cancer Society drive. Because the work that they are doing to stamp out this disease is one of the most wonderful contributions to the betterment of mankind's health that has ever been done. So it marches right along with the drive against polio and other dread diseases. So give and give generously, if you will, when the plea comes to the American Cancer Society. All right, now, Mr. and Mrs. Jandorf, you're doing all right here, boy. And as a matter of fact, we left Mrs. Jandorf out of it so far, but we're going to bring her in at this time. This time, she's got to do more work than you have. So that should make you feel a little bit better. Okay? Now, if you both step over here with me, I'll show you what the problem consists of. Now, here's a little wagon, and you can have a seat in that, Miss Jandorf, with your feet in it, too, just facing the audience. Long time maybe since you sat in one of those wagons, but they're really quite comfortable. How's that, all right? Good enough. Now, Mr. Jandorf, you are going to be the one-man power to drag Mrs. Jandorf around the stage. And why drag her around? I'll show you. There's the football helmet, a tray, an inflated Bobo clown, a beach ball, an alligator, and a box, and a boot, and another box, and this hat back here. This cup is no part of this, incidentally. It belongs in the last stunt. All you have to do is just this. Stop at each of these articles so that Mrs. Jandorf can pick them up. And when she has every one of these articles up off the ground, in her arms, in her lap, in the wagon, anywhere, without you helping to hold them in any way, we'll stop the clock and you'll beat the clock. You've carried more groceries home than that, I'll bet, many a time. So let's take a look at the clock and see how many seconds you have. 55, all right? Pick up the handle of the wagon there, boy. Get all set. You can start with that one right there. You ready? Go. Giving her advice, and she says, don't bother me. Oh, get the boot. That's it. That's it. She got the boot. Mrs. Jandorf got the boot. There's the box. Now you got a hat to get, and you're done. Get in there. Stop the clock. Got it. Let me get your hand, Miss Jandorf. That's the idea. The girls will take all that stuff out. Don't worry about a bit of it. All right, you've moved up real fast to a try at our jackpot board now. So, Mr. Jandorf, you're no part of this, sir. You can sort of take your helmet and stand over there, if you will, and think just good thoughts about Miss Jandorf. And I'm going to ask her to step up on this little platform at the far end right there. Step right up on this, if you will. Turn around, face the audience, if you don't mind. And don't turn around again until I tell you to. And back of this curtain is our magnetic board with all of the words of a famous saying or quotation. They're all mixed up. You got to get them unmixed, so they spell out the saying or quotation we're after, all this in 20 seconds. Do you understand? Now, don't turn around till I tell you to, please. Open the curtain. Turn around, take a look. Go. Five more seconds. Well, you have sort of sneaking up on it there. It isn't really too far away. It's, oh, that, this, two solid flesh would melt. Oh, that this two solid flesh would melt. All right, but step back in here because you two have done mighty well tonight. You've beaten our $200 clock. And again, let's see what you have won.
Your prize is the amazing Kenmore infrared range, sold exclusively by Sears Roebuck & Company. The range that cooks your meals perfectly with infrared rays by means of Sylvania's instant heat cooking unit. Congratulations, Mr. and Mrs. Jandorf. You two have just won a Beat the Clock prize worth more than $200.
Now, Louise, whom do we have now?
Lieutenant and Mrs. Wayne L. Hall from South Dakota.
Thank you very much, Louise. Well, hello, Miss Hall. How are you?
Hello.
How long married?
14 and a half months.
Good.
Wonderful months.
14 and a half wonderful months.
Yeah.
Good. Hiya, boy. Nice to have you here, Lieutenant. How long have you been in the Marines?
4 years now.
Oh, you've been around a few places there,
No,
too, I
too
see.
many.
Where have you been?
I've been free as a main place.
When'd you get back?
It's been almost 2 years now.
Oh, you got over there in the early part
Yes,
of it, is
sir.
that it? And where are you stationed right now?
I'm waiting to go aboard the carrier Midway down in Norfolk.
Huh? Well, what sort of ships are you stationed on most of the time? Carriers these
Well,
days?
I've been, well, the Marines I have on carriers, of course. Most of the time I've been shore, though, as far as I go.
Well, I'm glad you're short tonight. Nice to have you here with your lovely wife, I'll tell you.
Code Access.
Instead of just watching, if you were playing along, your name could be here. Log on to gsn.com now.
All right, now, we're going to get the fine lieutenant's wife to come over and do a little work tonight. Haven't had any of the women doing very much, so if you'll come over here with us, the lieutenant will stay there and watch you. And don't worry about him. He'll be there when you come back. Now, if are you right-handed or left-handed?
Right-handed.
Right-handed. All right, if you stand right over here and face the audience. Face the audience. We're going to fasten a little contraption on you here. And you'll notice, as Betty is fastening it on you there, you want to help her with that belt? It's a military belt. I guess you know how to do it, don't you, huh?
I don't know any better.
Hey, how about that? Slide it right through there. That's the idea. You pull it as tight as is comfortable for you to hold this on your side here. Is that good and snug, is it?
That's fine.
All right, now let's have the loose end around here, and Betty will tuck it in for you. Meantime, I'll show you we have a little ring here made of a balloon, you see? We've tied it together. Now, all we want you to do is, without touching this or the stick or anything with your hands, but just by giving a little hip wiggle there, we want you to land this balloon safely over this stick and make a ringer with it. But be awful careful, because you'll notice that all around here are little corks from the top of which each one is a needle. So don't break the balloon. Do you understand the problem? Now, you can't touch the table. You can't use your knee to knee it, but just, that's it. You got it. That's the idea. Take a look and see how many seconds you have here. Look over here. 40 seconds to get one ringer. Are you ready? Go. Come on. She did it! Man, I'm telling you, you just never know when a good hip wiggle is going to pay off, do you?
Right.
You just never know. All right, get Miss Hall stripped out of that as fast as you can there. Boy, we got an army working on her over there. Because we have a problem next, Lieutenant, that involves a little business of, there she comes. She's out of it. All right, you come on over and join her with me, will you, Lieutenant? That's the idea. Now, you stay right here because we got some more for you to do together this time. If you'll stand in back of that black line, the other side of it, turn around and face Madeline here. That's right. And you, sir, come over and take Madeline's place, if you will. And take those two cereal boxes like this. Let me show you, see? Now, I'm going to ask you to pick up one of those cereal boxes there, if you will, and toss it to me, and try to keep it sort of upright as you toss it with one hand, underhand. Just kind of toss it. See? And you have to catch it using only that and get it so that it's trapped between. Toss me another one, if you will, and try to keep it upright. That's the idea. It has to be lengthwise, you see? Let's see if we can't get one here so we can prove that it can be done here. That's the idea, see? Now, you catch one. Once you have caught one, you catch a third one on that. So when you have four stacked up, and you can only have your hands on these two end ones, you can't rework them on the others at all, you can't use your body in any way. Okay? Got the general idea? There's one. There's another. And Mrs. Hall, may I suggest that you try to toss them so they kind of remain upright, see? All right, take a look, see how many seconds you have. 50 seconds. Are you ready? Go. All right, drop it. Just go on around. Just try to toss them gently. Reach out. Reach out. That's it. That's it. That's it. Now you got one. You got one. Get it set. You say when you're ready. Come on over here. Oh, what a job you did. Now it's time for you to try for our... Oh, we haven't got time. My goodness, I hoped we would. Now, can you come back next week?
No,
No, I'm
You
sorry.
can't come back? Oh, bless my soul. Well, will you watch next week or something? I will show you what your prize is at that time.
Certainly.
Oh, God bless you. I'm sorry you couldn't stay longer. We tried like mad to get it so you could try for the jackpot. But in any event, best of good luck to you. God bless you
Thank
both.
you
It's been
so
awfully
much.
nice having you with
Thank
us
you
on the
very
show
much.
tonight. Good night.
Good night.
And now this is Bud Collyer speaking for Sylvania, hoping that next time may be your time to beat the clock. Good night, everybody.
This has been a Margaret C. Bill Thompson production, produced in association with the CBS Television Network. Louise King, John, and Junior Sophisticate original. Beat the Clock is brought to you by Sylvania. And this is Vern Bennett reminding you to tune in every week at the same time for Beat the Clock.